Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. These are words found in the 90th Psalm, the first two verses. The 90th Psalm, the 91st Psalm will be our focus of our devotional this morning. This is a prayer, a psalm of Moses, and it describes him in the scriptures that he's called a man of God. Wouldn't that descriptor be amazing if that could be applied to you and I today? We can think of nothing, I can think of nothing more permanent than the mountains. But what Moses is saying in this introduction is before the mountains were, before this symbol of permanence, you were. Before the earth was formed, before the universe was formed. So in the midst of pandemic, in the midst of economic crisis, in the midst of uncertainty in so many ways, in the midst of maybe being gripped by fear, we can be reminded this morning that he was here before all of this, and he knows our frame. We can trust him that he's in charge. He is the blessed controllers of all things. My name is Pastor Michael Hall. I will be with you for this devotional this morning. Our focus will be on the 90th and the 91st Psalm. If you have just a moment, if you could hit the pause button, if you haven't read those Psalms yet, would you please do so now and rejoin us as we finish our devotion. The first few verses of the 91st Psalm describe God as our refuge, our fortress. Do you need a refuge today? Do you need a fortress? Do you need a place that you can go to, that you can be certain that will not be shaken? I know I do. And listen to what the psalmist says. He says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge, my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." I think sometimes, particularly in the United States, we place our faith and trust in things that are uncertain. I spoke in the introduction about the fact that before the mountains existed, before this symbol of permanence in our world, God was. And so sometimes I've relied upon things that are important, and I don't diminish the importance of retirement plans and health insurance and proper workouts and diets and all those things. Those things are very important, but they're not permanent. In fact, this psalm tells us that they can be gone in a moment. And so the question is, what's my permanence? Where's the place I go when I need to know that this rock will not move? What will be stable in my life? In a time of shifting sand and uncertainty in all quarters, what's permanent? Well, what we see in these two Psalms this morning, these amazing Psalms, is God is permanent. It's him. He's the fortress. He's the rock. This is not religious talk. This is real talk. This is where the rubber meets the road for us. So I would leave you with this in the devotional this morning. The last verse of the 90th Psalm says this, in verse 17, "Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish the work of our hands upon us." Yes, establish the work of our hands. Lord, may that be our prayer this morning. Lord, may your favor once again be upon us as we turn to you at times of great trial and stress. You're the one who's permanent. You're the rock. You're the fortress. You existed before all of this, before the world was formed. You know our frame. You know we are but dust. You know we're like the grass that withers and fades away. Father, would you show us favor today? Would you show us your permanence? Would you bless and keep these precious people that I'm speaking to this morning, may they know that you will hide them under your wings this day. In the name of Jesus, I pray these things.